have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
Welcome, Monster Kids and Manorites. We have a really good show slated for you tonight. As you know, we are going to be at a show called Fantasm Orlando, and that is next month, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. So this is a part of our Road to Phantasm series of interviews we're going to do. And tonight we have the distinct pleasure to have Amelia Kinkade. We're very excited to have her. She has an interesting story here, so let's get on with this wonderful interview and bring on our friend Amelia.
Hi, Scott.
Hello, Amelia. I am really excited to finally chat with you on Monster Manor.
Thank you. Are you down in Florida?
Yes, yes. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how things are. But yes, we're in Ocala, just north of Central Florida.
I posted something on my Facebook where a woman in Texas was baking a loaf of bread in her mailbox. It took exactly 20 minutes, not for it to rise, but for it to actually cook. I know it's gone viral. It's all over the place. But during the COVID lockdown, everyone was learning how to bake sourdough bread, and now you can actually bake it in your mailbox. And as you make breakfast on the car, then it'll be easy because everything's all in one place.
Absolutely. That's interesting, though. I mean, we got one today that I wasn't expecting either. We had to go to our local little grocery store, and we're walking in, and in the middle of the walkway, there on the sidewalk on the concrete is a chicken breast. How random was that? But it was almost fully cooked.
Were it on the sidewalk in New
Yes.
Mexico, it would be fully cooked.
So. I'm not sure if it was like a science experiment, but there you have it. That was the weirdest thing that I've seen all day.
Hopefully by September, it's going to be beautiful, and we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a blast. This is my first time to do a show in Florida.
Oh wow, that is something to be. We're very proud that you're kind of coming into Phantasm then for that.
I am too. I mean, I hope that everybody in the surrounding states also are going to come in, drive in. This may be my big Halloween party. This will be the last one of the year for me before Halloween. So it's going to be awesome. And more cast members keep gathering. So we've got the boys, we've got Alvin Alexis, and we've got Hal Havens, and I'll bring my pig nose just for that. And there might even be more to gather. We've got Linnea. Oh, you had a picture. How good?
Oh, we had to. That was such a beautiful picture.
Will you come to my house and just operate my computer for me, please?
I wish we could. One of these days, we're going to have that studio where people can come in.
That's great. That's great. And Linnea Quigley's coming. That's my beloved Felissa Rose.
Yes.
Oh, that's the walking party. I think Allison Barron's in this show. She's going to come to New York. So there's some very rare autographs, very rare cast members that don't usually, can't make it to these things. And it's going to be a good one for sure.
Oh, we are looking forward to meeting you in person as well. Like I said when we talked originally, though, this is a different type of show. And it's more like inside the actor's studio,
Okay.
So I like to, let our fans know a little bit more than the person just besides the role that they played, because you were obviously known by many as Angela from Night of the Demons.
Mhm.
But there's so much more to you. How did you get started into acting in the first place?
Well, if you're a Golden Girls fan, you know my Aunt Rue, the
I was going there.
the hottie. You ready with these pictures? Wow. So, I didn't want to be an actress. I did not want to act. I came out to Hollywood to dance. And I was staying that first year with my Aunt Rue. And the
Mm,
first job I got, I took a taxi in the rain. So this is way before Uber. And I was
mm,
answering a little ad in a drama log. This was something of a pre-agent era for dancers. And one dancer wanted in a rock video. I went, a little hayseed straight off the bus from Oklahoma.
mm.
100 over 100 dancers auditioned. They wanted one. My favorite band in the entire world was the Stray Cats.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I kind of manifested this. I mean, this is a lot of what I teach now, of visualizing what you do want, imagining that you already have it, having the feelings match. It's not just seeing it or writing affirmations, it's feeling it. And
Mm,
every night when I was in Oklahoma in college, I would dance every night in the mirror. That was my wind down. So
mhm.
the Angela dance was something I was already doing. It's just my nightly routine, and
Oh wow.
I'm ramping up again. So it still is. And I got this job, which was nothing short of a miracle, and then find out it's for the Stray Cats. I didn't know who it was for. And it turned out to be Sexy and 17 with the Stray Cats, and
Mhm,
it got a huge amount of press. I got a huge ride out of it because of the naughty factor. I
mhm.
was underage. It was 17. Back then it was like, woo, this was 1983.
Yeah.
And I was staying with Rue, and my Aunt Rue said, Mimi, you're going to be an actress. And I said, Rue, I don't want to be an actress.
Mm,
I don't want to be an actress. I'm a dancer. And she pushed me into it, and I got the audition for this role. And Rue was the
mhm,
reason I did it. She said, it's lead, and it's the villain, and the villain's always the best role, and you're doing it.
mhm.
You're doing it. I mean, actually, the movie's an ensemble cast. I
Yes.
just got a volcanic ride out of it, and I still am, which is miraculous. The amount of
Mhm.
fans coming in with tattoos of me on their body,
Yes. Yes.
and then the
Yeah.
artwork, the artwork that pours in, it is phenomenal. And as you know, this isn't even the fans. This the kids of the fans.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that Night of the Demons has hit that cult status, I mean, not only Night of the Demons, but its sequels. I mean, people are so rabid about that movie. Did that take you by surprise when you were first aware that this was the case?
Shocked, shocked. You can knock me down with a feather. And I've been lecturing all over the world, 27 countries with my books. And I had a fan on the East Coast who actually was a phenomenal sculptor. And he was making an Angela doll, a
Mhm,
sculpture of me. And he said, Did you know you've got fans out there? And I
mhm.
said, Come on, that's ridiculous. I don't have fans out there.
A lot of fans.
Lo and behold, part two and part three are about to come out on Blu-ray. So
Mhm,
the entire trilogy is getting a reboot, and
mhm.
how they're keeping this movie alive every Halloween, this many years later,
Yes.
it
And it's got a Criterion release coming out. I mean, it's unbelievable.
it is so flattering. It's so phenomenal, and it's become this. And for a number of reasons, it's not even just the actors. It's every element, every person, from the special effects artist. Johnson had just won an Oscar for Ghostbusters. He was at that time the best in the world. It was Boy Wonder. He was the best in the world. And
yes, we actually have a photo of you guys with him.
A lot of the effects makeup that I believe keeps this movie so popular, because what we did will never be done again. Like 27 hours in snake makeup in part 2 with 2 contacts in each eye, will never be done again. Movies aren't made that way anymore.
Right. Nowadays, it would probably be, CGI or something like that, or a combination.
And it's amazing how many of the fans really respect that. They love that. And they love everything from the opening animation sequence to the guy who did my demon voice, to cinematography, the set designs, the editing. The composer was the director's brother. And there were so many different people, and for no good reason. We weren't getting paid anything. And maybe that's why we all just went, hey, no one's ever going to see this.
Yeah.
Let's just go crazy.
So it was a labor of love for everyone.
For everyone. For all of us. And it was really, we were able to flex our creativity because it was low budget. And there were so many things that needed to get done, and there was no way to get them done because there was no money. So they do things like just put me on roller skates and push me down the hall. And something that seemed so stupid when I was doing it, trying not to wipe out in a hoop skirt, trying not to get my crinoline stuck in my wheels. I'm going, ah! And the way it came out. I mean, people don't realize actors are a small part of we're a small part of a production. We get all the credit, but we're not necessarily the ones who even deserve the credit. So we certainly all went for it, and we were having fun. And I think a lot of our camaraderie and our laughing and how much we enjoyed each other, I think that's part of what gives this sort of a contagious, giggling, joyful energy, this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, that definitely projects when you see this, is that there was so much fun that you could just see was going on. We were going to be having Mr. Tenney, Kevin Tenney, on in just a few weeks. He's coming on. So we're excited about that as well. What was it like? How did he basically approach his directing style for Night of the Demons from your perspective as an actress?
Well, it was hectic because I've only discovered even after the fact that they'd come in and cut his money and say, oh, well, minus $100,000. Oh, no money for that. Nope. And so he was doing what he could and being super creative, as he is, and funny. So after a take, he'd say, chock full of art. Chock full of art. There you go.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to speak with him as well, and we have a lot more to talk with you about. We are coming up on a hard break for a commercial, so if you can all stand by, we're going to have more with Amelia Kinkade right after this. welcome back to the show. I also want to welcome all of our new viewers on the Tingler Television Network on Roku and PlayStation and everything else. You can check out www.tinglertelevision.com for all the ways to watch us on that network. But we're back with a very special guest, the beautiful and talented Amelia Kinkade.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you for coming back, and thank you for bearing with us through our commercial break. So we were talking a little bit about the break. We had the revelation, because it's the first time I heard it, that you guys did that with almost no budget, or close to it, and you still managed to have this camaraderie and this electric fun that was going on behind the scenes. Can you give us any neat stories that would be cool that you can share?
Well, if you have Hal Havens on, he's probably going to give you the best of them. I mean, so he's got some about scaring people that he shouldn't have been out scaring in the middle of the night. We were shooting all night in downtown LA, and at that time it wasn't illegal yet to go out and possess your makeup. Now it is. Somebody could have a heart attack. So
yes.
Are you going to have Hal Havens on?
Yes, he's actually going to be on. I think he's our next guest, Wednesday.
Okay, well, that's a teaser. But I'm sure you're not going to have Phil Tanzini on, because he's not the one who does very many of these conventions. So Phil, that's the one who was in the green scrubs, the doctor's outfit. Phil had his arm chopped off in the coffin. If you remember that, he was with Jill Tereshita in the coffin. And the next morning, he hadn't taken off his special effects makeup, and here Phil Tanzini has a bloody stub for an arm. And he drove through, I think it was a Burger King.
Oh, Lord.
With his arm missing. Now you know how good the special effects makeup was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with Steve Johnson and Nick. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Nick's coming to Florida, isn't he?
Yes, he will.
He's fabulous. So
yeah, he's a good friend.
There were pranks being played. I wasn't one of them. It was all I could do to be propped up all night in that dress.
That was a complicated wardrobe piece there.
They put 6 hours of special effects makeup on me, or 9 hours when they did burn, half the body burned off with a hot stone. That's 9 hours. And then they'd prop me up in the corner because they didn't want me to sit down and wrinkle my dress. So they'd be up all night. And by the time we finally got the shot, which we would have to get before the sun came up, I was ready to kill everybody. So it was method acting by then.
Oh, wow. So then you probably could have been an Angela.
Well, sure. Yeah, for sure. I still have my moments. None of that was comfortable. None of that was fun. With a prosthetic.
But then you went back for 2 more tries, right? You were in 2 and 3.
Yeah, but if somebody's going to pull you back as the lead in the movie, are you going to say no?
Oh, absolutely not.
You've got a whole new cast for you to harass and torture and kill. And you're the only one getting brought back for the sequels?
Right.
No,
and that's something that you probably never had any idea was going to happen as you were filming the first one on no budget.
No idea. None. Because it felt and seemed very much like an ensemble cast. I mean, the big star of the cast was Linnea Quigley, because she had just done Return of the Living Dead, and she was a big star in the horror community at that point. None of us were known at all. And the fact that I got brought back in the second one just completely blew my mind.
Wow. I could imagine. So were you ever like starstruck? Was that something in you? And like Linnea Quigley, like you said, she was very well known. She was one of the very first Scream Queens. Were you familiar with her work
because of the kind of family that I grew up in, I don't have a starstruck response.
Mm,
My Aunt Rue was this magical
yes.
aunt who lived inside the television set. And when you're a little kid growing up in Texas and Louisiana, and that's as far from reality, it's as far from the reality that I knew as a child,
Mm,
anything could ever be. So I think I already knew about acting and I'd been around celebrities because of Rue and because it wasn't my thing. I mean, if
yeah.
concert ballet dancer, ballerina, concert modern dancer had come, that I would get starstruck about.
Yeah.
That I would. But not actors, no.
Mm. Yeah. I imagine that Rue McClanahan would be a very hard act to follow. She was so enigmatic and exciting and fun in everything that she did.
And she was funny in real life. When
Oh, I
she
believe it.
When she moved to New York, one time she called me and she said, Mimi, was my childhood name, you know, Mimi.
Hmm.
My goal in life is just to be whelmed. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want to be underwhelmed. I just want to be whelmed. And Rue, we could crack each other up. We could crack each other up. And she also had a quality that I had. I mean, gosh, I wish she were still with us today because
Oh
I
yeah.
really, really studied this more. If had I been able to be around her more, because I was in Los Angeles, she was in Manhattan when
Mm,
she passed away. She was known to be able to walk in a mall and come out 6 hours later
mm,
because every single fan that came up to her, she'd stop and she'd say, "Hi, how are you? Where are you from? What do you do for a living?" She'd
mm,
never acted that like she was better than anyone. It wasn't a condescending scrap. There wasn't a condescending cell in her body.
mm,
She was the most gracious superstar. And I got to see her do it a couple of times in person where we'd be out having lunch in Beverly Hills and some fan would come up and just make an absolute fool out of herself
mm.
and interrupt us and be phenomenally rude. Now, they don't mean to be. They don't know that they're
Right.
doing anything wrong. And Rue didn't treat her like she was phenomenally rude.
Mm,
Rue went up to her and hugged her and said, "Thank you so much for your support and for being a Golden Girls fan." And she engaged her. "What do you like about
mm,
the show? Why has it touched your heart so much?" And I
mm,
watched this. I've heard Sean Connery's like that.
mm,
And then she said, "I'm having lunch with my niece Mimi, and I don't get to see her very often." And the woman went, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
yeah.
But the warmth and the elegance that she had, that was my template. That set the bar
Mm,
for me. So that's why every fan dives into my arms. Every fan,
yeah.
they tell me the story, and the stories are breathtaking, outrageous stories. Stories like one guy said he was in ICU and they told him he was going to die. And he
Mm,
binge watched Night of the Demons in his hospital room and came up to me and said, "You saved my life."
oh my gosh.
I had another one that was a Marine that said that was serving a duty in Afghanistan. They were allowed
Mm,
to one movie, and he took Demons Part 2. But
mm,
another soldier came up to me and said he was also similar situation. He was supposed to bunk in the army with some guy he couldn't stand. And they were going to be stuck together for 4 years. They could not stand each other. They took one look at each
mm,
other. First sight, they hated each other. They bonded over Night of the Demons and became best
mm,
friends.
mm.
What's
That's a
amazing about
legacy.
that? And the same thing with Golden Girls. It's what did this help that person get through? The loss of their dog, their divorce, their kid was sick, their mother died, whatever, and they turn to some sort of film or TV show
Mm-hmm.
for strength.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's true about any real fandom. Like horror has a remarkable number of people that have stories like they were pulled through by certain movies or certain cast members. People watching Golden Girls have their stories. Some, like for my family, it was just a chance to watch something fun, and get away from some of the news of the day. Growing up in the 80s was not fun for everyone.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was such a great memory, and the two are not very very separated far, because I read a rumor that you were also in one of the Golden Girls episodes and got to work with Rue.
I did. I did. And there have been Golden Girls conventions recently starting up, and they were in Chicago. And they had a huge poster of me. I mean, I had all of maybe one line. So
Yeah.
there was an episode where they all get arrested because they think that they're hookers.
Yeah.
And this was the episode where Burt Reynolds made a guest appearance.
Mhm.
And I'm one of the hookers in jail with Rue. And I think I had done one Mama's Family or two Mama's Family. There's another one called The Slumber Party, and I have green goo all over my face.
Mm.
And there's one episode of Mama's Family where I was dancing, and we were swing dancing, and it was great.
Yeah. So did the dancing ever show up in your life after Night of the Demons?
There were things that were happening simultaneously. I think that I got the television show with the Motown Revue, so I was a backup dancer for Smokey Robinson and Mary Wells, and sat on Ray Charles' piano bench, sang in his ear. So I'm sure it was the first time he ever wished that he was deaf instead of blind. I don't sing. And then we got to work with, I think, Lionel Richie, and I was a backup dancer for Sheena Easton, Cher, Donna Summer used to fly me around in a helicopter. That was her comeback tour.
Mm.
So I got to work with some mega stars.
Mm-hmm.
And the remarkable thing about it, if I can make a broad generalization, that level are the nicest people you ever met in your life.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
They don't have
Oh.
any attitude. There's no ego at all. Smokey Robinson, I mean, I locked my keys in my car in the rehearsal. And Smokey Robinson called, I called AAA because I didn't have a AAA card.
Mm-hmm.
Smokey Robinson gave me his AAA card. Well, it doesn't say Smokey on it. That was a nickname. I think his name was Edward, I think. And I called, and the guy came out, and he was like, big old like New Jersey kind of bloke covered in tats is trying to, and I give him the card. I said, well, Smokey Robinson's card. We're rehearsing. I don't believe you. You better go up and get him. So I go up and I say, listen, Smokey, he won't unlock my card if you don't come. So I was like, oh, okay. So Smokey comes down, goes down. The guy almost fainted in the street. And Hollywood in the 80s, and signed an autograph on the car. But that level of magnificence, like the higher you go, the nicer people get. Because there's no trying anymore. And there's also less pretense. And being an actor is not more important than being a surgeon. It's not more important than being a teacher. It's not more important than being an electrician. I mean, every single person who's making our culture, our society function is important.
Very true. Very true. That's amazing that you would make that connection, especially with someone as high as what Smokey Robinson was in the day, and then for him to be so humble. I guess it was all those influences that kind of shaped you and made you who you are, because you're beautiful, talented, you can dance, you can do all these things, but you're also as sweet and as humble as anyone else.
Wow. Well, thank you. I mean, the world's filled with talented and smart people. And it's all about discipline, confidence, and being able to keep your chin up, being able to keep going when times get hard, and say, well, I might not be great at this. I might not even succeed at it. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. I like to do it. That's why I write. I like to write. And if you're a writer and you're sitting there cracking yourself up, laughing out loud, this was something I didn't expect either. The audience will come with you. They laugh when you laugh. They cry when you cry. They get angry when you get angry. And if you're honestly able to express those things, I've also trained. So a lot of it also is just having respect for great teachers and going out and finding them, no matter what you're hoping to do. There's a whole new influx of filmmakers, low budget filmmakers. They were writing, producing, starring in things. They're doing their own effects, and they're killing it. Because now we have a whole new arena because of all the social media, where they grew up practicing. Children are making their own movies. Children are putting the music behind their own slideshows and videos. See, it's a different world, and it's putting the power back in the artist's hands.
Yes.
So when I was in the 80s, I mean, people would say, "Why'd you quit acting?" I mean, you don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I think I'll quit being a movie star today." That's not what happens. Back then, if MGM didn't hire me, or if 20th Century Fox didn't hire me, you don't work. And there was only ABC, NBC, CBS when Fox arrived on the scene. Like, wow, alternative. I was one of the first MTV faces of MTV when MTV first started. So, and also Saturday Night Live had just started. And of course, that was Lorne Michaels. That's my Aunt Rue's buddy, who produced her and multiple shows. He loved her. But being able to now do things on your own, that is magnificent. And you can even crowdfund stuff. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need a big studio to back you. You can just go out there and do it, get it done.
Yeah, because everyone knows sometimes those producers actually do more harm than good and kind of stop up the plumbing.
Very well said.
Yeah. Well, we do have another break that we're coming up on, and I'm really excited to get to this next segment because this part of you blew me away. So we're going to take one more break. We'll come back with more from Amelia Kinkade after this.
Thank you.
Fantasm Orlando returns to Doubletree by Hilton at Universal Studios on Kirkland Road in Orlando with a very special night of the Demons reunion featuring legendary scream queen Linnea Quigley and Allison Barron with special effects master Nick Benson. Also featuring Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp and Victor Crowley and Rob Mello from the Happy Death Day series. Submit your entries now for the Shockwheel Cinema Film Festival exclusively at Fantasm. And Monster Manor is back once again to cover your horror favorites at the event. That's Fantasm Orlando, September 15th through 17th. Visit phantasmofficial.com for more details, VIP ticket packages, and more. We'll scream you there.
Hi, this is Jackal Howard.
This is Douglas Tate.
You are totally watching Monster Manor TV. Keep watching.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Amelia Kinkade still, and since I started doing my research, this has been the segment that I was just like excited about. You know, I get a little bit different with my approach to horror stars, and this really puts what she is in a nutshell. So we welcome back again to our show, Amelia Kinkade.
Thank you.
Now, like I said, I'm very excited to talk about this because your philanthropy and your animal activism that you have done has just been phenomenal. You're reaching out to cultures that may not have had the same appreciation for animals or been taught different. You've even worked with them. Can you please tell us a little bit about your mission abroad and with animals?
Oh, wow. Thank you. You pulled these gorgeous pictures. So my nonprofit in Africa is called Archangel. And this is what I do with my dance training now, my acting training now. And for the last 19 years before COVID, every single year I'd go. You know, I'd go do charity work. Somebody would have problems with their tigers or their great white sharks or their penguins or their cheetah or their elephants. And I was constantly flying around the world, spending my own money, my own dime, just helping as much as I possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
I finally started my own. So with Archangel, I fly to very rural places. I lead safaris in Zambia. So Zambia is a very lions and leopard anywhere else in the world. And big cats are one of my big passions. Big cats, elephants, gorilla. I've also taken people to the gorilla in Rwanda. And I teach the children about poaching by introducing. We make up plays, we improvise, we dance, we draw lions, we make up plays about lions, we talk about their family, we talk about the family is something they understand. And if I say, if a baby elephant's mommy got killed, would the baby miss mom? 60 kids in the room. No. I said, okay, well, you come up here. You're going to be the mom elephant. You're the auntie. You're the baby. Who wants to be the big bad poacher? Big bad poacher. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. I said, okay, you're going to come up. You be the poacher. So he pretends to kill all of the family except for the baby. The baby goes over, this little girl goes over and starts nosing the dead bodies. It was one of the most poignant moments of my life to see this.
No doubt.
Playing dead elephants on the floor. So now how many of you think that a mother elephant would miss, or a baby elephant would miss his mom? All 60 hands went up.
Oh, yeah. And I think that is where the end to poaching is going to happen, by educating the children and giving them that side of the story, because they probably haven't been exposed to it before you.
No, they've never heard this before. And this is their financial future. This is their livelihood. If they don't protect their own animals and get jobs, and getting the girls motivated, keeping the girls in school, getting the girls jobs. They could be nurses, masseuses. They could even be safari guides. They could be anything. They could learn to be pilots. They could be anything. If the kids are in the safari parks working on the safari park, then they understand this is how we feed our families, by helping the animals stay with their families. And when I'm in Africa and I do a lot of work in third world countries, I respect both sides of it. There are arrogant Americans going in saying, you can't do that, you can't eat that. That's not what I do. I listen to everything. I've also taken meetings in Zimbabwe with the head of the school system who said, we've got an entire warehouse of illegal ivory and we're not allowed to sell it.
Yeah.
Our children are dying. My mother's in the hospital. There's no money for anybody. We don't have any money. Why can't we sell the ivory? So it's none of this is easy. It's complicated. The elephants cross over into the village and they pillage. they eat the roofs off of these huts. They eat the food. They go through the garden. I mean, my favorite elephant would even smash windows and steal people's champagne. They're boozers. They like booze. And so it's fun and it's exciting. And in the world of animals, I'm the ambassador between the other species. animals. And that's a big point, because people want to say, do you communicate with people or only animals? I say, no, other animals.
Yeah.
I work with orangutan. I work with chimpanzees. I've filmed at Jane Goodall's place in Africa. I work with gorilla. Coco the gorilla was one of my clients.
Oh my God.
And I've got oil painting gorilla and orangutan. So interacting with other species and really understanding, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What do they need?
Mm-hmm.
What is their capacity for intellectual, rational thought, reason, emotional scope? What I found is it is 10 million trillion gazillion times more than what we give them credit for.
Mm.
The humans have decided they're better than everybody else. And therefore we have a right. We have a right to cut down those rainforests. We have a right. We don't have that right. And what we're getting right now is a big taste of it. We're getting a backlash. We're getting a hurricane in Los Angeles. We're getting forest fires in Canada. I mean, it's happening.
Mm. Yes.
Now it's going to be the next generation of children. They're the ones who they have to have time to grow up and make the changes that they're going to make. So
Right.
entire investment is in the next generation. What can we do to support them? And a lot of these kids are coming in with extraordinary supernatural abilities, and the parents don't really know what to do with them. And I work with psychic kids, and always have, because if you don't have it shamed out of you, if you don't have it beaten out of you and laughed out of you, then every single kid on earth is born with intuitive capacity, with telepathic capacity. Genetically, we can all do this. We can all remote view. We can all do all sorts of things we don't think we can do because we've been told that we can't.
Right. Right.
So
we have no idea what we can do because that's the way we've been kind of conditioned.
exactly. And it's yesterday's news.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's news. These old ways, that old generation is going to die off. And the old ways of these old dinosaurs that were exploiting and corrupting and polluting and demeaning and blaming and shaming and making other creatures less than, that way, those ideas have to die too, because they're primitive ideas, they're barbaric ideas, and they're not true. And if we learn from the other animals, we're learning from our own cats and dogs, our own horses. And what's so beautiful about the horror community is the crossover. Now I'll try to weed them out and say, this Facebook page is for the horror movie fans. This Facebook page is for my spiritual minded animal lovers. And then people will text me and say, but I'm both.
Yeah.
I'm both. And see,
that's the beautiful thing about this community, you know?
The horror community is all about supernatural and occult and the character that I played. If you think about what Angela is doing, she was having a seance. And I wasn't the bad one. I was the voice of reason. I was the one who said, we shouldn't be doing this. This house is not haunted. This house is possessed. And what's amazing is that that's my realm. That's who I am and what I care about, and it always has been. And so both careers are about magic and taboo and unexplored possibilities and things that are real that we can't define.
Yeah.
Possessions are real too. Haunted houses are real too. Ghosts are real too. So it's amazing. I love this crossover community. I wish there were more of it. I wish there were more of it.
It starts one place and it grows, and hopefully the people that know about what you're doing, they can grow it even more. And I think it is going to be a wisdom that comes from children that are coming up into this new world that we've created, not always in the best way, but these children have the opportunity to change a lot of that. So that wouldn't happen if it weren't for teachers like you and people who have gone out of their way, because it's not safe going to Africa, yet you have. You've talked to the families and you've talked to the people that are going to make that change. Have you seen any of that change yourself yet in that direction?
I see it now all over the world.
Hmm.
This is now becoming a much more accepted point of view.
Hmm.
And everybody knows it. I mean, they've got a kid who could see us the spirit of grandmother who died the next day, and the child saw that spirit come into the room in the middle of the night, wake him up, and these things are not, they're not abnormal. This should be normal. It's not supernatural. It's natural. It's not paranormal. It's normal. It should be. Children can talk to animals.
Mm-hmm.
Children say, "Mommy, the cat's sad. The cat's this." And then if the parents don't shut down that child and they do their research, then they find out that the neighbor next door moved away and just took their cat's favorite cat away. Now, from the outside, you look at the animal and you think, well, the cat won't eat. What are you going to do? Take it to the vet. The vet's going to say, oh, it could be stomach cancer. It could be a rotten tooth. It could be this. It could be that. We'll run up blood work, x-rays. It's the last thing that cat needs. That cat's grieving. Her favorite other cat in the whole world just left. So to know whether a problem is physical or emotional is one of the greatest treasures anyone could ever encounter. And that's what I teach. It's this kind of sensitivity training so that you're learning how to trust your instincts. I mean, let's say, for instance, right now, if you're in Los Angeles, you need to know. You need to know, what do I need to do? Do I need to board up my windows? And do I need to have everything ready in case we lose electricity? What if we lose power? Have I got food? How am I going to get my kids to school? What's going to happen? What if this road floods? And that instinct inside of you, that's your connection to spirit, divine, whatever you want to call it. Just call it. Because now it's not a luxury. You got to know from 1 second to another, should I get on that plane? Now, for us, we go flying into a hurricane, you know? We have to stay in touch with this most raw, most primal, most divine part of ourselves. Because there's a connection with every particle to waves and to fields. And there's a field of energy that we can become aware of and realize you're not alone. You're a part of this earth. You're a part of all of her creations of life. And there's something greater than us that can help signal us when we're in danger. And there's no other way to keep your loved ones, your children, your animals safe. If you're not the one who's going to say, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I'm going to cancel that flight. Or I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I'm going to Africa and I will be safe. I will be protected. And I always am.
Yes. Yes. Well, I told you this was going to be a very quick hour, and we're already at the end of our third segment. Is there anything you want to leave with our watchers, our viewers, and your fans?
My site is just my name. It's ameliakinkade.com. And what you'll find there, the descriptions of the books. Of my 6 books are up on Amazon. The first one's called Straight from the Horse's Mouth. If you're an animal person, or your children are, you know someone who is, who's very heart-centered and open-minded and spiritually minded, that's the place to go. This is for me. So if you want to order an inexpensive download, I've got all sorts of meditations, and I teach online. And there's also a 52 bundle of audio meditations, a little bit more of an investment. But I'm putting as much out there for free as I can, and I'm putting as much information out there as I can. And if you want to catch me anywhere in any of these conventions, it all goes into the same pot. The autographs I sign and the things I sell, that's in Africa and around the world to help the planet and the animals before it's too late.
Wonderful. We did have a question that's on the screen now. Will you have any of your books at your table for Phantasm?
It's better if you order them on Amazon. Thank you for asking me that, and bring it to me to sign. It's hard to carry heavy things when you're flying. And so I can't carry a whole bunch of books, but they're very easy to find.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Straight from the Horse's Mouth, the first one, Language of Miracles, the second one, last one's called Whispers from the Wild. Though, and I have a illustrated children's novel that I created the drawings, and they're all cartoon illustrations and watercolor paintings.
Yes. I actually put one of those on your title card for this show. It's beautiful artwork.
How cool. Thank you. Thank you. It's called The Winged One. So that's a 10-year-old princess, but
it's right at the top.
Kind of flexible there. I've got all sorts of ages of people. Even adults are liking it. It's funny.
Oh, it looks gorgeous. I'm enthralled. But I know we're a little bit over, and thank you for sticking around just a little bit longer. I can't wait to see you out at Phantasm next month. This is going to be awesome.
Great. I'm looking forward to this one so much. So I hope people come out and see us and make it worth our while.
Oh, well, we're going to get the word out there as much as we can. And if you're watching this show, we have so many different platforms we're on. If you're watching this show, check out Phantasm. If you're in the Southeast, we got Disney, we got Universal, come and visit. And while you're here, check out Phantasm, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing with all the people in one spot, including the director of Night of the Demons. And there's a whole bunch of other cool people here. So check it out.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And thank you for yours.
Great. I'll see you soon then.
Absolutely. Have a beautiful night. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Love to everybody out there. Mwah. Be brave. Keep your chin up. Everything's going to be okay.
Thank you for those words.
All right.
So that was a very fast hour again. I'm always surprised about that, but we do have to jump into our segment with Boris, who is back from his vacation. So we can't wait to catch up with him and see what he's been doing. So without further ado, here we go. Boris's segment. Okay. Wait. One. Wait. Why is he wearing a bunch of used Kleenex on the damn shirt? That's like Boris watched from the thing. It's like
he made a
you
tissue
got
dance. He put a little boogie in it.
that dude. No, that's that dad bod shirt, and that's not Fantasm shirt. That's that.
Okay.
So anyway, Boris was back at the hiatus. What are you staring at?
What are you supposed to be doing?
The segment.
What are you supposed to do preceding your segment?
He might be a little bit out of.
Are we really going to do
practice.
that? We forced Boris to do damn. All right. Crap, what was it? Second, third season that we still got to do damn disclaimer. All right. For anybody not watching the show, and if you knew, disclaimer: whatever come out of these fat mouth, going to be Boris's fault, not Fantasm, Miss Fantasm, Baby Fantasm, anybody in the house or Phantasm. But you blame Phantasm because Boris already got paid. So anyway. It's Boris, not Boris' fault. Don't cancel nothing. It's internet. And if you don't like it, you know what? You're already watching. And what else are you going to watch? Like, Buzzer. Rerun of something else. Rerun of Friends with the whiny ass Ross. Anyway, Boris, if we haven't done this so long, Boris forget. So anyway, Boris on hiatus, which is a fun way of saying Fantasm Maker call him up, say, don't come over for a while. We're not doing crap. And then he do the Rob Mello interview, and Boris like, hey, and he's like, shh, Rob Mello, more important than you. So anyway, Boris got an idea because the background over here got a little Boris figure, right? He's a nice Boris figure and stuff. And Boris like, well, everybody coming up on Fantasm bring merch. And Boris is like, they already get Boris face and sell their t-shirts without giving Boris,
Can you
Boogaloo.
hear me blinking?
Yes. Oh, by the way, Boris, thank you for reminding Boris. Boris got to do the 3 things about producer lady. Thank you for reminding. 1, producer lady can squeeze orange juice out of a lemon. 2, producer lady wear cowboy boots made out of real cowboys. And 3, when producer lady played Jenga, she used Stonehenge.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Those are good.
Yes.
I've missed you, Boris.
Yes. So anyway, Boris come up with idea of merch to sell. And, Festamega, as you know, he worked for other companies making figures. And if you go on Festamega Sculpture Studio, I make the little Indiana Bananas figures over there. And Boris said, why can't Boris do that? And so Boris did. Boris come up with the how they have the Comic-Con release? So this is the Fantasm 2023?
2023 already.
It's been long. Fantasm 2023 release of the Fenstatator.
Oh my god.
It's the Fenstatator. This is pretty much from old country. We're making the old country because there's pretty much not many plastics. I think this is made 100% spud. And it is in the likeness of the first Festaburger.
How long is that spud been in the box? Because I was wondering what that smell was.
It's plastic.
Oh, it's
Well,
not
actually-
a real
Because
spud.
there was no plastic, so you had to
No,
use
but see,
plastic.
Boris made the original one. They sent it overseas, and you got one that you can afford with the boople. Now we're gonna open up, show you what's inside.
Okay.
You see the Festatator got the little thingy, the beard thingy, and then the gray hair. And then you open up, it says, it's Festatator that's seen on TV. Well, but then you got the wrong. Anyway, we're gonna open up, and one for the kiddies because you can't really choke on anything. But we got the Festatator doll.
Oh my
Oh
good
my
lord.
God.
Yes.
God.
With interview action. Like you're gonna say, tell me about what happened when you're a child and you want to be an actor. And then you go, okay, well this and that, and then you make a bad pun like, hey everybody, it's funny like a master. And then you got the thing where he got the coffee drink, well hopefully don't fall out, the coffee drinking arm, and the yell at the producer like the arm like, fix the damn sound, we got 5 minutes before the guests go on. And then his ears go back when producer lady yell at him, so he can't hear nothing. But you got the glasses and the Fenstamega hair, and if you want, you can make Fenstamega 60. You take the hair off like that. Oops, the bottle broke it already.
My butt fell off.
Yeah, it's shoddy again. But this is what happens when you buy it from a country with like 5 people. Anyway, it's the Fenstamega doll called Festatator. Retail at the Fantasm Monster Manor booth for $199.95. But the Boris only got one. But if you want one and you really serious about the one, what you do is monsterman1313gmail.com and you say, I want one of these, and Boris is going to send you one. And we come up with the price. But honestly, these are pretty much only ones, so we're going to give this Festamaker, the Festatator to the Festamaker, and he get to keep the artist proof. And like, okay, everybody, let's go to commercial. And then it Phantasm 2027. So this is the Fenstamega doll.
2027.
Whatever. But yes, so if you want a piece of history or just something to throw at the kids when they misbehave, you got the Fenstamega.
I love it.
And coming soon, Producer Lady.
A producer lady.
Not the producer, Producer Lady. It's the prune, and she's going to move you, just like the prunes do. They'll move you. What are you doing?
We're just going on with the show, but we
I'm
are
going on this futzing with the computer. Anyway, that's Boris' bit right now. Because he knew the other list and he was on long. But hey, it's what? October? No, it's August. Something. August. What? The show Fantasm? No. Today. Yes. Which means. Which means. Couple days from now, everybody gets going to my spike. It's going to be every girl with the boom.
I already have for Halloween.
That's like down. The pumpkin stuff, the stuff. Walmart have next week, and then 10 days. Come out. So you find Santa. Just showing up is like September.
Yes. Just throw it down, right?
No, it doesn't get down with that, man. You know, it's like, you know, the Halloween should be that it. You've done Halloween, then you got the obesity holiday of America when you eat, and then you say, hey, I'm thankful for everything. And then you guys punch somebody in the neck for a $5 TV. And then the fat man come and bring you kid stuff if they're good. That's communism. Anyway, so what else we got going? What is going to be, you know, because this is what is 5 minutes, and then, you know, got the promo on the crap when they cut them off.
First of all, Boris, thank you for the Fenstertator.
You're welcome.
I'm very honored. That's awesome.
You keep it. That's $55 for you.
50.
Oh,
I get a discount.
$199.99. Anybody else want to buy it? So they put the message down. First come, first serve. But nobody want to buy it by the end of the show. This show, Festa may get to keep 55, 95. Oh, okay. Dr. Peggy's Petting Zoo is open. They found the old person from the day trip, so it's open. She got a 3-for-1 child special. You leave 2 children at the zoo. They'll take one home and you get an alligator. And UF students, the alligators, Florida, it's a Florida thing. But if you come in a UF shirt, you get to look at the alligator for half price. Very cool. And then the voodoo lady that bought the magic talismans from she had on sale. Shrunken heads, 3 for $10, 2 for $10. The third one is alligator skull, and you can make soup out of it. Or you want to buy the feet, that's 7 for $1. But Dr. Peggy's Petting Zoo, don't touch, we told you. Very interesting. It is. It's very nice, and you know, it's the best time they found that old person. We thought they, but now they found them like up in hiding from apocalypse in the cave.
I see.
Yeah, but the good news is they got the dementia, so they don't remember nothing, so they can't sue.
Excellent.
Disclaimer.
And Boris, we happen to pick up another sponsor for you. This one's a good one. It's none other than Graveyard Offerings. We actually have seen them several times at the shows that we've appeared. Very nice couple, and they're doing wonderful things, making cool jewelry and that sort of thing. So again, check them out. They're at graveyardofferings.com, and they are a sponsor of this segment on Monster Manor TV.
No money for it.
Oh, we got stuff for you.
What do you mean you got stuff?
We still got to do
Graveyard Offerings, thank you, but you go into the fence to take the business. Boris is going to bring a pitchfork over there, and we're going to talk.
You never know.
The old country, we don't sue. We don't have pitchfork fights, and we throw animal gunks at you and stuff.
Well, we hope not.
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing that you did over your vacation. Anything else went on? We got some pictures of you from the spring break. But whatever happened?
This is for that one showing Boris in the drawers. That's illegal in the old country. You know that you can't show the drawers because then Boris go to jail for 46
Dude,
years.
I don't know. You just ride that wave because, I mean, that was a beautiful photograph.
Next week, we're going to show Festamaker on the crab because Boris put the hidden camera in there. And since he done make the thing, you know, with the Boris, you know, we're going to see Festamaker on the phone playing the Wordle or whatever.
We hope not.
And then, why are they pointing? See, this is what go on, Boris. They taunt Boris with something, right? And then they go on and yabba behind the camera. So Boris
that's the producer's job and stuff like that.
What?
We have to converse to make the show go as smoothly as possible. So
she don't yap at you when you do. You know, go call nobody over. Hey, have that when you doing your damn interview. No, what? The Boris. You know what, Boris? You gonna cut Boris off whenever you want to cut.
No.
everybody watch me embarrass myself on Monday and Wednesday and Saturday on Monster Manor TV. And I'm gonna go and break the toilet.
Hey, Monster Kids, thanks for hanging out for another episode of Monster Manor. Do us a favor, though, and hit the bell to get reminders of when we add new content. Subscribe to our channel, and while you're waiting for new shows, check out our website at www.monstermanor1313.com. New content at least every other week, sometimes even more often. Like and follow our Facebook page as well for other content. And lastly, if you want to help us out, check out our Patreon under Monster Manor with Scott Fenster. Thanks for hanging out until the end.